you. We're going to talk more about the implications for the sector. Rohit Kulkarni, Roth MKM Managing Director, joins us now with some street reaction. You know, Rohit, it's still very uncertain as to whether this ban is going to happen and be enforced by the likes of an Apple and a Google on Sunday, and whether it gets punted into a Trump administration. But given the Supreme Court ruling upholding the ban, what's your initial reaction as far as how it impacts the sector?
I think there's a big chunk of ad revenues and a bigger chunk of time spent that's getting unlocked right now. No matter which way you cut it, TikTok was the fourth largest advertising company in the US, right behind Google, Facebook, and Amazon. So when a fourth largest advertising company disappears, and advertisers are very, very nimble. These guys tend to have 6 to 14-day windows over which they tend to advertise on a company like TikTok. So what do while we are in this period of uncertainty? They probably follow creators. If they follow those creators, then if the creators go to wherever they go, that's where the dollars would follow. As far as users are concerned, I think, as Julia was mentioning, there were a bunch of new TikTok alternatives emerging in the App Store. I believe that's just a flash in the pan. Longer term, in a few weeks, we'll see the real beneficiaries are where ad dollars follow, creators follow, users follow. That circle starts to spin faster in companies like Google and YouTube, as well as Instagram and Facebook. So that's what I think. I think would be buyer of a company like Facebook. Facebook stock today on surprisingly not reacting so positively.
Rohit, no doubt creators and users will experiment elsewhere. They'll diversify. They'll try out the other platforms. But I wonder the degree to which there's really kind of a one-for-one replication of all of the ad opportunity. In other words, the virality of TikTok and the engagement level seems to be pretty unique. And therefore, it's not necessarily the case that there's a given amount of activity and ad attention that can be ported elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that TikTok has done very successfully that has been very hard to replicate for any other U.S. company is cracking the code of social commerce. TikTok has done that in a way that has become very sticky, where teenagers, younger people are doing a lot of impulse buying because they're spending maybe 6 to 8 hours every week on TikTok. That means they don't spend as much time on other apps, the three other guys that I just mentioned. And the impulse buying that TikTok has facilitated is not something that Facebook, Google, or Amazon has been able to replicate. So I think that's where that amount of economic kind of thing that happens on TikTok will probably disappear. So perhaps it's a 30-40% of TikTok's value is going to disappear overnight.
But I just think, you know, it's Trump has said that he doesn't want to ban. I mean, basically that they don't want to ban TikTok. So hard to assume that that's necessarily going to happen. I think more likely is that they'll find a buyer if China is amenable to that. I do wonder how much you think that U.S. business is worth, given you do have some of the facts and figures around advertising.
Look, I think TikTok did something like 11, maybe $12 billion in revenues in North America in 2024. That's our best estimate. I think if I use comps similar to Facebook and other faster growing companies like Reddit, this company, just the North American unit, could be worth anywhere between $75 billion to $90 billion. So that's a pretty large valuation for a company to be digested before Sunday night. I would be very, very surprised. And then that your if statement about is China going to be amenable about the algorithm? I think that's where the deal starts to break, in my opinion.